Welcome back, guys. In my last Dragon Bound TCG video, we reviewed the Torrent of Light starter deck, and I said in that video that we were going to also do a review of the Dark Flames sister starter. So in this video today, we're just going to cover what you get in the box, how the deck plays, what I think of it, etc. This video should, in theory, be a little bit shorter than the last one, since we don't have to kind of cover all of the what even is this game stuff. So if you did miss that video, super quick recap. Dragon Bound TCG is a card game by Core Studios. It's released through GameCrafter.com, homebrew indie homemade trading card game. You battle dragons against your opponent's dragons, and unique thing, you don't have a hand. So we'll get right into it. This deck box, just like the last one, has art for the title character. It's got a deck list on the back, a little bit of a description of the general gist of the deck, and the QR code for the YouTube channel, but just sort of same as the last box. First thing different though, the starter deck rulebook. The starter decks do come with rulebooks, and the one that came with the light deck is blue. This one is red, so you get two different versions of the rulebook. It is the same rules. However, the rulebooks are coded to the deck that you got. So in the book, when it shows off cards, in the pictures, in the examples, it features cards for your deck. And then pages that just have art feature cards from your deck. Whereas the red book shows, a card from your deck and examples from your deck. Also, you'll notice the back here that talks about buying more packs to get more cards features cards that could go in this deck, different than cards for this deck. That's just a little thing, but I think it's really cool. It makes each deck feel unique. It's a extra cost or process to make these that the creator definitely didn't have to do, but it really makes the deck stand out and it feels cool. So to get into the decks, the first thing that I notice with the Fire Dark deck here is that it is a little bit more consistent than the Water deck, in that it has more full play sets of things. Where the Water deck had a lot of 2-ofs, this deck has less individual cards but more 3-ofs. So funnily enough though, we're going to start with a card you get 2 copies of, Brutok the Fire Starter. It's a level 4 in 1900. It raises the attack of all fire dragons by 300. And if the opposing dragon is water, he gains 300 more. If he's destroyed, you raise a dark or fire dragon's attack by 500, then you gain 1 soul counter, which is life, so you just gain 1 life. So he's a 1900 by default. He raises the attack of all fire dragons by 300, so by default he's just a 22. That's already a great start. But he's a 25 if he's fighting a water dragon, and he buffs up another guy if he loses. 3 copies of Flambian the Combustor. I like the art on this one. I think the pose is really cool. It's kind of hard sometimes to do front-on faces and stuff. Sideways, dragon heads and things look kind of cool. But even in famous games like Pokemon, when you draw something from the front, sometimes it just looks kind of dumb. So I think it's nice that this card looks as good as it does. The pose is really cool. I like the kind of combustion thing in his hands. It just looks neat. Anyway, he's a 2000 attack, level 4. He gets 200 attack for each fire dragon in your burial zone. Again, that cares about the face-up cards in your burial zone. And if he's destroyed, destroy the opposing dragon as well. You win a match if you have more dragons left than your opponent. So if he loses, he gets to take out the other dragon. So it keeps the tug of war closer for that round. So he just helps to make sure you stay ahead. We got 3 copies of Ryuga, the Son of Fire. He's a level 4, 2400. He gets 100 attack for every fire dragon on the field. There could be up to 4. If he is destroyed, destroy one of your opponent's non-fire dragons. So just like the other one, you can kind of rebalance the board, and he can be up to a 2800 attack. Big ol' level 4. The kind of gimmick, as you can see I'm sure by now, of the red stuff, it seems, at least in the starter deck, is just big, beefy guys. The blue deck has a lot of like negates and life gain and like interesting kind of effects, but they're generally weaker than this, where these guys are just like beefy. That's a pretty standard like red feeling effect in card games, so it fits right in. Moving out of red, we get into the dark half of the deck. We've got Balox the Corrupted. He's a level 4 2000. When he's on the field, before the start of the first match, which is just what the 3-round battle is called, choose 2 of your opponent's dragons, negate one of their abilities, and lower the other's attack by 300. If he's destroyed, this ability is negated. So if he's like first in the row and dies, and he affected the other dragons, it goes away. But if he's last, he sticks around longer, which is pretty cool. But just a little bit of control over their power. Negating one of their effects is really good, especially with the blue deck having like negate the attack or whatever. If you can say that he won't allow that to happen, pretty good. And then making the damage gap between your already big dragons and your opponent's now smaller dragon is great. We've got 3 copies of Noir, the Son of Shadow. One of these is a Merge Core version. Again, if you were to build a constructed deck, you would definitely want to get 3 copies of this deck so that you could get your full playset of the Merge Core ones. But he's a 2200 level 4. He gets 100 attack for each dark dragon on the field, so up to a 26 if possibly. If he's destroyed, choose a light dragon in your opponent's burial zone and flip it face down. That sort of just means remove it from the game. Pretty good effect. And 2 copies then of Therabane the Empowered. This is a level 3 dragon. One of the, I think the first level 3 of the both decks. He gets 100 attack for every light dragon your opponent has on the field and is unaffected by light dragon abilities. If he wins the match, search for a relic in your arsenal deck and use its abilities before the start of the next match. Super good. This guy's awesome. He also has 2300 attack, which is just crazy. So that, I don't know. I think this guy's nuts. Getting extra attack. He can be up to a 2700 if they're like a light only deck. I think this guy's crazy. He's awesome. You only get 2 of him. I would want to get a 3rd copy of this guy too. I don't know if this is a starter deck exclusive card. I've not seen the full set list for the booster packs or whatever, but I would still buy 3 for Merge Core versions of this guy anyway. And then a nice thing that this deck does, you get a metal dragon, 1 copy of Ignis, the Emblem of Flame. He's a 2700 level 5. Oh, sorry, a level 6. He gets 100 attack for every fire dragon on the field and is unaffected by ice dragon abilities. Just pretty cool. He can be up to if he's in play, that means there's 3 other slots, so he can be up to a 3000 if you have all other fire dragons. Just a pretty strong beater. Now, as you can see with him being a level 6, the rules mention when you're building a deck, you can only have 3 of each tier 8, tier 7, and tier 6 card in your deck. So, as I mentioned in the first video, you win or lose by having, when the battle starts, each turn you reveal the top card of your deck. If the level of your dragon is higher than your opponent's dragon, your dragon goes to the bottom, theirs goes to the discard pile. And then you just go on to the next and keep going until someone wins or loses, or you get dragons whose levels match. If they match, that starts the full match battle round with the 3v3 dragon thing that I've been talking about. So it's like when you're thinking about building a deck, you're like, well, why wouldn't I just have 30 level 8s and never lose? Well, that's because you can only have 3 of each. So you can only have 3 level 6s, 3 level 7s, 3 level 8s. So keep that in mind when you're considering a deck, but that just means you can't run a million of cards like this. Then we get into the dragonettes that you get in the main deck. You get Spara, the Flame Walker. It counts as both a fire dragon and its original element, the dragon it's attached to. So, for a refresher, when you reveal a dragonette, you reveal the next card of your deck and it goes on top, and it becomes like an extended effect. So now this dragon would be fire and dark. And this dragon gains an additional 500 attack. This is another huge dragonette. You just get so much value out of 500 more attack, but even being a fire dragon too, for the other guys who care about more fire dragons and stuff being in play, pretty good. And then finally, 2 copies of Alakhan the Piercing Dagger, which we got in the last deck as well. When he destroys an opposing dragon, defeat one of their arsenal cards on the field. Just some back row hate. Feels good to have. I think this guy feels like he's probably pretty staple. I'd like to see more of the Dragonettes to know for sure, but I think just being able to blow up one of those back row cards feels pretty good. Then we'll get into the Arsenal deck. You get 1 more copy of Alakhan. You get 1 more copy of Spara the Flamewalker. And then you get a new one, Sovek the Fire Spitter. This dragon gains 500 attack. You gain 2 soul counters, and your opponent loses. Soul counters equal to half of the opposing dragon's tier. Life gain and life drain from your opponent. You get more attack. This guy is awesome. I know this is one of the starter deck exclusive cards, so if you wanted to pick more of these up, you would want to get a 3rd starter deck. And then we get 1 dark dragonette, Daigar the Dark Spawn. This card I think is really cool too. This dragon counts as a dark dragon. Okay, you attach it to a fire or whatever. Negate all of the opposing dragon's dragonette abilities in the current match. As you can see from just these cards that I've read, the dragonettes add a lot of value to your cards. Being able to negate all of those is really good. Then we've got our standard remaining 4 of the deck that the 2 starters come with. You get a Merge Core, which lets you fuse into your Hybrid Dragon. You're going to have 1 of these. I would probably have 3 of these. And you get 3 Nova Medallions. We got 3 Aquas in the last deck. Here we have Nova. Choose a dragon you control. It's 200 attack. If it's fire, it gets 400 attack. The dragon one gives you some like life gain and protection from effects, where this one is just like damage. Fits right in with the red vibe. Does exactly what you would expect it to do. And finally, we get our 1 legend deck dragon, the cover art of the deck, Magmaroth the Dreaded Flame. He's a 2800 flat. He gets 200 attack for every fire and dark dragon in your burial zone, so he can get gigantic. Your opponent loses 1 soul counter for every water and light dragon on the field, so they could lose up to 4 life. If the opposing dragon is a light dragon, negate its abilities. And then if this guy is destroyed, your opponent loses soul counters equal to half of their dragon's tier in the Dragon Bound zone. So whatever the dragon off to the right side of the board is that triggered the match battle, they lose half of the life of that dragon. Pretty good. I think this guy is like another just kind of shining example of this is what the fire deck does. It just gets big, it trounces on the water stuff, and that is what it is. He's simple, he's big, he's beefy. I think he's cool. I think the like the water one with its kind of control-y sort of nature is slightly more interesting, but this deck just punches really hard. It's hard to overcome some of the matches you get into with this deck where you just set a card down and you're like, oh, all right, I'm 2,000, and they're like, okay, I'm 3,200, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I guess I can't beat that. That's where the blue decks like negate the attack effects become really relevant. I think these 2 decks together pair really, really nice. A lot of times when games have like 2 starter decks, there's one like obvious good one or something, and the other one like sucks, and it's only like if you play the 2, it's like 80-20, 80-20, whatever. I don't think that's the case with this one. I think both of these decks play super well into each other. This has a lot of negates and life gain. This one has just giant attacks, so you can kind of sequence your negates and stuff to be better than beating these guys. The water deck is not likely going to win via like combat all that often, but with the life gain, it means that you're not going to lose health-wise. So what you're trying to do with this deck is try to like outlast your opponent's physical deck, where the red deck is just trying to win through combat and like take all your life. It's a cool balance, and I think both starter decks are really cool. I think this one is really fun to use. I think the blue deck is cool. I'm really excited to get the rest of the set. I've got 6 copies of every card in the set coming in the mail, so I'll be able to build whatever I want. I'm excited to get into that. I have seen some views, like the creator on his YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description, has posted a video where he shows what he would do to upgrade both of these decks with cards from the set. And even just looking at those two videos, both of these decks get a lot cooler and do a lot more stuff. You get to have 10 cards in your Legend Dragon deck, where this only comes with 1. So having 9 more options to have in your Legend deck to be able to go into and like extend and change your play patterns, I think is going to really make this game feel much cooler. It already is like pretty fun, but I think with full access to an Arsenal deck that you sculpted and a Legend deck that you sculpted to do different things, I think it's going to be really interesting. You've so far seen fusion dragons, but there are also what are called transcendent dragons, which is this icon here. Some dragons will have that on the bottom section of their card. That one actually is a revival icon. I don't know if there's anyone in here that's a transcendent dragon. Probably not, since we don't need one for the deck. Okay, there's not. But the transcendent dragons, they can like level themselves up. So when you have a transcendent dragon, you can go get another dragon from your Legend deck and put it on top of it. And so you can set up these kind of combos that way that I think is really cool. You don't have to just do these like fusion dragons. Overall, I think this this pair of decks, even if this is all you buy, is like super worth having in just like a battle box of decks. I know there are a lot of people, especially with like indie card games or dead card games, who like to have like 2 decks just in a box that they can say, oh, I own that game, I can play that game with someone, here it is. I think these 2 decks together make for a great experience of just playing the game. It's definitely not going to feel the way that the full extended card pool and like full mechanics will feel, but I've played 6, 7, 8 games of this already, and like it just feels great every time. It's quick, it's fun, the effects are simple. I'm a fan. Anyway, that's it for the Dragon Bound TCG starter decks. When my full set stuff comes in, I'll probably do a video unboxing that and showing off more cards in the set. And when I build a deck of my own, I will probably show deck profiles for that too. Thanks for hanging out through a second one of these videos. I will see you next time.